He is a 7-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier, a 2-time Bassmaster winner, a 9-time FLW Tour winner, the always popular John Cox. But that's not all. We also kick off a brand new residency with Byron's Bunker, 3-time Bassmaster winner, 2-time Classic qualifier, former bachelor Byron Velvick. Both of them join me this week on...
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Welcome one, welcome all, friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course you, my humpers. Happy hump day to each and every one of you, and welcome into the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 212th edition of the Mercer Podcast, and I hope wherever you're watching or listening from, that life is treating you well. Thank you all for tuning in week after week. As you can see, I am clearly not in the studio/office here this week. I am on the road, back-to-back Bassmaster events here in the Lone Star State, and behind me is legendary Lake Fork. As you watch this, we are just a few hours away from kicking off the 6th stop of 2025 in Orange, Texas on the Sabine River. I hope to see a bunch of you there, but let's talk about this fabled freaking fishery. Lake Fork, unbelievable. What a tournament. I've probably covered more tournaments on Lake Fork than any other body of water, if you take into account all the TTBCs over the years. And this body of water is literally responsible for my MC career, especially in the U.S. This is where I got kind of my big break, and I am thankful for everything that happened to the Toyota's Texas Bass Classic. I never come here and don't think of Lenny, Andy, Katie, Eric, Harry, everybody Freddie, everybody that was a part of the original TTBC, and those are the Toyota Texas Bass Classic. It's wild to think what that event has been over the years. It really was my big break in the U.S. It's one of the major reasons that Bass hired me, I would imagine. And without that event, Lord knows where I end up. But it was just an event ahead of its time. It was when we would take 15 anglers from the Elite Series, 15 anglers from FLW at the time, 15 anglers from the PAA at the time, and we would let them go head to head. So you hear people every once in a while, we need an event where MLF goes against Bass and blah, blah, blah. We had it for a decade. And weirdly enough, I don't think it got the credit it deserved at the time, but it was so ahead of its time. I mean, when I drive past that field every time I'm here, I literally make sure to drive past that field and just sometimes stop and just look, because it's wild. Like, to think that, I mean, it's just a field right now. It's Sabine River Authority. But at one time there was 40,000 people in that field for a tournament weigh-in, for a Trace Atkins concert. It just was a cutting edge, way ahead of its time event, and something I was proud to be part of. And that's literally where it all started. That's where Catch, Weigh, and Release started. Just so they could have a tournament on Lake Fork. You have a slot limit here between 18 and 24 inches, so you cannot bring the fish in. So to have a pro level event is impossible unless you have judges in the boat and you do Catch, Weigh, and Release. And that's where it all started. Obviously, MLF has adapted that and use it to great success. And once a year, Bass does it when we come to Lake Fork. So it's really cool to just come back to this area. But every single time I'm at Fork, all the events I've covered, it's just, I leave here scratching my head being like, wow, how does that fishery just continue to do what it does? For the second year in a row, we had 10 anglers. The entire top 10 had 100 pounds, which is unthinkable. The fact that we were even talking about Paul Elias's record from Falcon Lake in 2008, 132 pounds, 8 ounces. The fact that that was even in conversation, that it could get beaten on Lake Fork, is puzzling. Falcon at the time was undiscovered. It's in Zapata in the middle of nowhere. Fork is an hour and a half from Dallas. It is one of the busiest bass fishing lakes in the world. I had a hard time finding a spot to actually sit down and record this without people here. So the fact that we were even comparing those two is wild. And I get it. I know exactly when I say this. Some of you are like, but forward-facing sonar. Yes, forward-facing sonar, huge piece of technology. It is a huge reason that the weights are what they were. But I will say that record has evolved over the years. I mean, there's people that broke that record before Paul, as Paul, that had different technology than the people before them. It also makes me think that if there was forward-facing sonar in 2008, Paul Elias would have needed 50 pounds a day to win on Falcon Lake. It's wild when you think about it. I mean, if you don't believe that, just think Terry Scroggins weighed in 44.4, the second biggest bag ever weighed in Bassmaster history, and he did that without forward-facing sonar back then. So, I mean, it would have taken 50 pounds a day to win that tournament if there was forward-facing sonar. And the other thing that nobody thinks about is back then they were fishing with co-anglers. So they were splitting fish. I mean, you have to believe that throughout the week, some of their co-anglers caught some of the fish that they would have ended up catching. On the Elite Series now, they're fishing with marshals, so nobody's taking the fish. But what happened this past weekend is truly incredible. It was just a fun event. Great crowds, great people. I loved meeting all the fine humpers that were in the area. I don't like dealing with critters crawling on me. It was just a fun week, and I thank everybody that came out. Had a lot of fun. Oh, Seth Feider, he needs a certain shout out. I mean, all 10. And also Tucker Smith, congrats on winning an Elite Series event and only your 5th Elite Series event. Really cool to see him and Paul Marks flip-flop. Hartwell, him and Paul Marks were first and second. They were first and second once again, but this time, the opposite order. And I believe, I haven't checked it, but Paul Marks said on stage, he believes that they were separated by 14 ounces in both occasions, which is wild. Another wild thing is the fact that Tucker Smith won that event on Mother's Day. The most famous mother-son combination in bass fishing history is Aaron Martins and his mother, Carol. Aaron won on Mother's Day with his mother in attendance at Lake Havasu. Tucker Smith is Aaron's protege, and he won on Mother's Day. I might be overthinking it, but I just think somewhere upstairs, Aaron is looking down and smiling because it was a very, very cool event. Special shout out to Seth Feider, who cracked the Century Club, but he did it in the dirt. He won the Dirt Derby. Most of the field, I mean, Wesley Gore caught a bunch of shallow fish, but he was also scanning quite a bit. But Seth did it old school. He won the Dirt Derby. Me and him made a agreement that during Mercer in the morning, that if he cracked 100 pounds, I would buy him a trophy. So he gets a Dirt Derby trophy. So I need to make said trophy and present it to him. I'll probably present it to him as part of Mercer in the morning because that's where it started. For those of you who haven't watched Mercer in the morning, it's an hour before each Elite Series takeoff or Classic takeoff. I run around with this skinny Bob Barker microphone that I'm using right now, and I just ask weird questions and talk to anglers when they're half asleep. You should try TuneIn because we'll have it again this week on the Sabine River, where as you're watching this, we're just a few hours away from kicking off the 6th stop of 2025 in Orange, Texas, the Sabine River. It is the home of the record crowds. We had 40-something thousand people there. The last time we were there, we'll have giant crowds again. We will not have century belts. It is a much more stingy fishery. Good for numbers, but not for size. I mean, that part of the world deals with hurricanes and floods and things like that. The fish just don't get big, but it's always a fun, compelling tournament to follow. I mean, we had Lee Livesey last time jumping dead cows. I mean, nothing says bass fishing like jumping dead cows. it's always a compelling, fun tournament. Brock Mosley, the defending champion there. Jason Christie's won there. Hackney's won there. I mean, it's just a fun event. And if you're not a forward-facing sonar guy, a pretty good chance that this will be the least amount of forward-facing sonar we'll see throughout the year. So make sure you're tuning in this week. Doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I make sure you guys get a show each and every Wednesday. And I pre-recorded 2 segments for this show to make sure that we had a show. I mean, I sure I could pull hey, I'm on the road. We got back-to-backs. We can't do a show. But I promised you guys you'd have a show each and every Wednesday. And this one is a good one. We kick things off with John Cox, who is incredible, one of my favorite people to literally talk to. We have weird little conversations throughout the year where we just call each other and have rando conversations because he's just a fun dude to talk to. And then we kick off a brand new residency. Residency started here on this podcast. Of course, we had the Rick Clun residency. It seems some other podcasts are adding residencies now, but hey, that's how the podcast world works. But we're adding one. Byron's Bunker, the always popular Byron Velvick, former Bachelor, Classic qualifier, Bassmaster winner. He joins the show once a month, tells us a quick, funny story, interesting story, sad. Well, I mean, he tells us a story. His stories are all good. You guys know you've watched his shows, and we'll still do shows with him throughout the year. But Byron's going to come on once a month, going to tell us a story, and then he's going to talk to us about some of his stuff on eBay. It should be a fun segment that you can tune into each and every month. Speaking of which, that's our big announcement for this week. A very big announcement coming next week. Something I'm really excited about that we're going to start doing on the show. This show continues to evolve. Don't worry, Jake's Take will be back in your life. Obviously, in back-to-back events, it's hard to fit it in, but Jake was in the boat with Kyoya Fujita. I pushed him and bullied him into getting some of the secrets from Kyoya, so he will be sharing those with us when we do a double dose of Jake's Take. Basically, he'll break down everything that he saw at Fork, then he'll also break down whoever he is with this coming week in Orange, Texas on the Sabine River. So that is something to look forward to. But without further ado, let's just jump right into this show, and we'll kick things off with the one and only John Cox. John Cox, we now interrupt this laughter to start recording this podcast. How are you?
Man, I'm awesome. Doing good. I just got back from Oregon last night. I went and shot with the Loophole guys. They kind of taught me how to do some long-range rifle shooting. And, man, it was epic. I shot Bigfoot at 1,260 yards. I couldn't even see him. I had to find him with my binoculars. Hit him with the rangefinder, do a little guessing, and they have this custom dial now that they make for their scopes that I just dialed it in. I don't even know what I'm doing, and I'm able to, hit him at 1,200. It was 1,262 yards. It was insane, like 12 and a half football fields.
God,
yeah, crazy.
Do you realize the goal to you just, I mean, I could literally call this podcast, John Cox, I Shot Bigfoot.
I'm just setting it up for you, Dave.
I appreciate it. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We don't even have to do anything else. We're done.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
So you have no experience. Dude, that is a ridiculous.
I mean the furthest I shot before was like 100 feet, I mean, I'm in Florida, there's houses there.
Yeah.
The only time I shoot, like, I'll shoot on
wide.
It's just there's nowhere to do it that I know of. And, so they were like, hey, they had a few of us out there and they wanted to show us some new product and stuff. Man, it was an awesome trip.
Wow.
Super awesome trip. A lot of new stuff coming. It's really cool. The wife and Lil came. And for day one, I don't hear from them all day. I'm like, they must be having a blast. Check the location, because we got the Life 360 or whatever. They haven't moved in like 7 hours. And they're like out in the wilderness, like out in the woods and nothing. So I'm like, we'll give them till, 6 o'clock tonight. So everybody back here in Florida, it's dark. All the other kids. So they start panicking. They call the cops. We got the cops looking for Melissa and Lil. This is the first day we're out there. And so I'm like kind of panicking. I don't know what to do. I don't have a car. And
they called the cops from Florida.
Yeah, and had them like, and then they call on me, and then they're looking for us. They're like, we're pinging her phone. We got a 25-mile radius. We don't see their car. And then 7, 8 o'clock comes, and Melissa and Lil come out of the woods, had the best day of their life, hiking. So I had to call the police officer back. I was like, man, I owe you a fishing trip. I'm so sorry. Like, they're fine, And the pictures they got were epic. Like, they were in the snow one minute, then they were like on this mountain, like climbing these rocks the next minute, and then they were in a waterfall. I mean, they had a really good time.
So why did they not move? Like, it was just their phone wasn't right?
No signal out there, I guess. Yeah. So once it lost it, it kept them in that one. And they were way far past that even. But yeah.
Wow. What a day. I mean, you're shooting Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They're getting searched for.
Yeah.
I mean, you need a freaking reality show, my friend.
No.
I mean, that is the Sweeps Week episode right there. Tonight, John shoots Bigfoot, and his loved ones are missing forever.
Yeah. I did feel a little guilty because I'm like, oh, maybe I should have went with them, but I was like, I'm having the best day of my life. It was something else.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like it. So that's what you do to relax in between Elite Series events?
Yeah, go on other trips. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening to your signal. We're fighting it here. Hopefully it'll clean up on the other end. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Oh.
You're good.
Oh, man, I lost you for a second.
I should have no, I had your voice, but you were like.
I might have been just staying like that. I don't know.
That'd be great. You're welcome to do that whenever you wish.
Yeah.
What is like a real? I mean, so now I feel guilty. When are you leaving for Texas?
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, so moment of total honesty. We shot this before Lake Fork, so this is going to air between Fork and Orange. I'm getting ahead because
okay, we're gonna be busy. Yeah,
we're gonna be busy, but this is like your one day at home, and I'm invading it. I feel like a total asshole.
No, Dave, this is what we do. I mean, that was that wasn't really. I don't feel like that was work for me last week, and even the week before that when I was fishing at Hartwell, that was a lot of fun too. So so I mean, this is it's all part of it. It's a lot of fun, and man, I'm looking forward to the next two. They're gonna be a lot of fun. Fork and Sabine. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like Sabine, but I mean, it's the challenge part of it that's what I do enjoy that part. So
it's a fun event. I love, I mean, it's always fun to follow. You know what I mean? But here's the only problem. I'm calling it right now. Horrible order. Yeah. I mean, if we were going to Sabine next, we went from Hartwell to Sabine. Yeah. We're going to go from friggin' Lake Fork.
Catching 10-pounders.
to 10 pounds is good.
Yeah. They're mixing it up for us, Yeah, What's nice about Sabine is when you show up, I mean, the people there love us awesome. For the most part. I mean, besides the people that stole my catalytic converter that time, but that was
that one time. They weren't from Orange.
They were from more over by Houston or something. But for the most part, everybody there, they're there during practice at the ramps.
It's
waiting
awesome.
to hang out and talk to us when we come in, go out. Which is cool.
Giant crowds, incredible crowds for the weigh-in. Yeah, they're good. They're good people. Just lock down your catalytic converter.
Yeah.
How many did they get? They got like 8 or 9.
8 or 9. I was the only one that still drove it. I didn't think there was any. I was like, you can drive it. Lester probably would have drove his, but when the guy came up, they watched the video. When he got out from underneath, he hit his head on the mirror. And was like, oh, and he cut the guy's mirror off and then cut Lester's tire. So he was having a bad day. But
damn it. That mirror got in the way of my thievery.
Yeah.
You love driving it, dude. I mean, when you rolled up, I saw you that morning. You rolled up and you were like, it's like a NASCAR. All they got to do is weld the doors shut. Oh God, you didn't put your phone on Do Not Disturb, did you?
That
You're going to destroy this entire podcast.
I know. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. My bad. I drove it in there, and I was trying to make the best of the day, so I was revving it up and stuff. It was crazy.
That's how you are, though. That's how you are. You're never grumpy.
Sometimes. Yeah, ask my wife. Sometimes I get frustrated.
What happens to make John Cox pissed?
So I think it's more I don't know. I think it's usually the kids. Them kids. Them kids. God. I love them to death, but man.
Don't whisper. They're not going to watch this podcast.
You never know. They might be. They're probably watching.
You think your kids are a bigger fan of you than they really are.
yeah, they might be. You're probably right.
Do you think they still like going on the stage?
So that I don't think they like anymore. I mean, it's been obvious. I mean, you've seen it. It's like, I've had to twist their arms. But I wanted to say the last one they went to, the last classic, when we came home, that was like, hey, Dad, I'm going to get a rod out of the garage. Like all of them have rods and reels back in their truck, set up, ready to go. And, and they haven't been like that in a really long time. So yeah, it's kind of neat.
They love fishing. They just don't like when their dad ridicules them on stage and makes them hold fish.
Yeah.
A minute ago, I wasn't frozen. That look I was giving you, that's the look that your girls give you on stage.
Yeah. They are. They're like, why am I up here? Yeah.
So what is you don't get a lot of them, but what is a day off like for John Cox?
So a day off for me, I'm, I'll sleep in, try to anyways. Or I'll sleep little bits.
What time sleep?
I'll have to get up at I'll get up with Nan at 6, and then she'll go to school, and then I'll go back to sleep for about 30. Then I'll wake Lil up, and then Lil will go to school, and then I'll go back to sleep for maybe a couple more hours, and then I'll get rolling around 9 or 10. And
gotcha.
Yeah, and then if I have absolutely nothing, I'm I'll probably go fishing somewhere around here. I mean, that's pretty much. I don't really know what else to do with my life. To be honest with you,
that's it.
I don't know.
Really.
I mean, well, the last time I had off, I was fixing sprinklers, and that was my goal today, was to change some more sprinklers, work on the pool, pack my stuff. But when you were like, "Hey, come on and do the show with me," I was like, "Sure."
Screw the sprinklers.
Yeah, I don't want to do any more sprinklers. No, not at all.
Well, I'm sorry, but you're welcome.
Thanks.
Saved you from sprinkler duty.
Yeah.
Whenever you come home after this road trip and you have brown grass, that's why.
Yeah.
Because of me. My gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're looking forward to Texas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love going out there. It was kind of funny last time. You guys were all asking me, ask my camera guy on live, how do you think you're doing right now? And I thought I was, I had 18, 19 pounds. I was feeling like, okay, I was like, I'm not really having a great day. And then when I came in, I was in like dead last. So it was pretty impressive last time. This time, I mean, it'll be more, probably a little more top water action, stuff like that. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. You like top water.
Yeah, I do. I like,
that's a Florida thing though, too.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I like seeing the fish react on a bait, and eat it. Like I don't know. That does it for, I mean, I have, burned in my memory so many times where a big fish would come up and either eat a frog or eat a swim bait or eat a swim jig. And I would either miss it or it would miss the bait, and like those you don't forget those bites, and then ones you caught too. So I don't know, just some of most memorable fish catches are when you see them eat it.
Do you have like a most memorable, like if somebody said, "Hey, what was the greatest fish you've ever caught?" And I don't mean like hey, I caught this one and I won this tournament.
Yeah.
Or do you have like a moment that in your mind?
God, I mean, the one that I really remember was that one we went to Harris Chain a while back. And day 2, I got enough to make the cut. I'm looking for a couple extra. I see this fish that's like as long as my leg, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I fished for it for a minute, can't catch it. And I come in, I make the cut, and I'm like, I'm going straight back to that fish, and I'm going to stay on it all day. I'm like thinking it's 15 pounds or so. I get there, I fish for it for like, I think I'm 4 hours in on it. Day 3, can't catch it. I'm like doing all kinds. I'm changing directions. I'm throwing all different baits. And finally, I'm getting frustrated. I ease up on that fish and I like put the cattail under my foot and I'm holding the boat there. And I just drop my little crawl right over its head and I gave it one pop and she just opened up and sucked it in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this 15. I get them all the way in. I grab it and it's not quite 15. It's skinny and and I'm thinking it's only like a 10 pounder. I'm like, it's only a 10. And I was frustrated, but it was, but it was like one of the most epic catches ever. It ended up being like an 11 pounder, but yeah, that one I remember. I mean, I remember like it was yesterday too. That was an incredible bite and fish catch. I mean, I set the hook on him. I had maybe 10 feet of line out with 20-pound big game. The new crick crawl we were working on, and it was just, gosh, setting the hook. I mean, it didn't even move when I set it on him. That line stretched real nice. And I mean, it was just awesome. It was an awesome fish catch.
Do you comprehend at any level how small the percentage of humans that exist on this earth that have ever said, it was only a 10 pounder?
Yeah. I just thought, I don't know if I would have spent that much time on it, but I'm glad I did. It was, became one of my most memorable fish catches. So
yeah. Too bad it was only an 11 pounder.
Yeah, it was skinny.
What is the biggest bass you've ever caught?
I mean, that was the biggest one I've ever weighed in a tournament. But I've caught, because, I was doing a lot of shiner trips a long time ago. And though I watched some people catch some really big, 12, 13-pound fish. So, yeah.
You still love to shiner fish a little bit.
I do. That's what, that's, it's a lot of fun. You don't have to go for long, a lot of action,
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
You just love fishing.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I do. And when you take someone shiner fishing, you can take anybody shiner fishing. They don't have to know how to fish anything, And you can have a great.
Oh boy, here we go. We're just gonna deal with this the whole time.
Am I able to turn it off now?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Go ahead.
Let me see.
I mean, give her a little slide.
Let me see.
Regular viewers of this show are used to this because 2 reasons. The main reason is I'm not good at my job. And when I spend 10 minutes laughing with the guests before we even start recording. Do you see focus? Did you hit focus?
Yeah.
Swipe?
No, I was on focus. I was on focus.
Yeah, but you got to hit it, don't you?
I put on.
I mean, you clearly
disturb.
were not on. You were getting interrupted by.
Well, no. So that's what I thought. I don't know why they're coming through. I leave it on focus always.
Okay. All right. But we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Find out.
Well, so if it's on focus and they call 3 times, then it comes through, right? Or 2 times.
Do you have emergencies you need to deal with?
Oh no, but that's what people do when they want to get a hold of me. They call over and over and over.
Wow, you have a lot of friends that do that?
No, I don't have any friends, Dave. I just have that.
Bull crap. No, there's nobody that doesn't like you.
No, it was like all kinds of. It's probably, I don't know. I probably didn't pay on the truck payment, and they're going to tow it or something.
Probably.
Today's high-tech fishing world can be a real pain in the neck, especially if you're running the wrong mount. Beat Down Outdoors, they bring the graph to you. And they support this podcast and care enough about you to make this a short ad read. Check out Beat Down Outdoors. Now back to the show.
I'm drinking a water with a Celsius powder in it.
You like a little taste? Is that what it's all about?
Yeah, a little taste, a little, peps me up.
It's way better than a slushie. I mean, not better, but better for you.
Yeah, that as soon as I got off the plane, that was my first stop. I haven't eaten all day. Get off the plane, I went into 7-Eleven and got a Slurpee.
What does a Slurpee make you feel?
I don't know. I think it brings me back to like hanging out with my mom and dad when I was a kid, and like mom would sit on the porch, smoke a pack of cigs, and I would drink my Slurpee. So it was kind of I don't know, just good times. We'd fish from the bank somewhere, like it was just I don't know. It comforts me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Has he ever asked Fighter just to sit around and smoke near you so you feel?
Yeah. That's probably why I get. I mean, Fighter reminds me a lot. He's a lot like my mom in that way.
What kind of darts does she smoke?
Well, she likes to mix it up. She's one day she'll be Marble Reds, and then she'll get on a menthol kick, and then and then every once in a while some Virginia Slims. I refuse to buy some of those though. When she's like, "Hey, can you pick me up a pack?" I feel weird buying Virginia Slims. It just
why?
I don't know. Marble ones I can buy. I'm like, I'll take those. Menthol, Yeah, but I'll always send my brother in for the Virginia Slims.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, I mean, I got this somewhere.
I'll buy your cancer sticks.
Yeah,
I ain't getting you Virginia Slims. Though.
Yeah, get some real ones, Mom. Get the Cowboy Killers.
If you're gonna smoke, damn it.
Yeah.
Not loyal to any brand, though. Wow.
No,
most smokers are very they smoke that, and that's it.
Well, so she is very particular on where you get them. The Virginia Slims have to come from the store up by Winn-Dixie. The Marble Reds have to come from the Circle K down at the end of the street. Like there's certain places that they have to come from.
Well, why? Have you ever asked?
She says they're
fresher?
Yeah, says they're fresher. I don't know. I don't smoke them, so I have no idea.
Have you ever tried to just go to the one store and be like, "Yeah, I went to that one you were saying."
Yeah, no, she knows. She's like, these are. Where'd you get these at? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious right now?
Oh, crazy. Strangely, the more you tell me about your mother, the more I'm getting to know you.
Yeah. You see where all of it comes from. Yeah.
Do you dream about fishing?
I dream of. I guess. I mean, I set the hook a lot in my sleep. But I never connect with them though. It's very weird.
It's always
it's always like and it wakes you up and you're like, I missed them, like so I mean that but I don't think I never I'm always just missing them in my sleep, So
those are nightmares.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, it wakes me up.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I have that one. Then I do have this other dream too that I'm like leading the tournament. I think it's a classic, and I don't get up. In like I'm trying to get up, but I can't get up. Tournament's going on, and then I get up. And you guys are all there, and you're like, oh, you can go out and fit. You can maybe fish for an hour, but then it's time to come in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't fish everything in an hour, and I'm panicking. I'm like, my heart's racing. I'm probably having a mild stroke at the time,
Wow.
But yeah, crazy.
Have you ever slept in for a tournament?
Yeah, maybe like, well, I used to be a little bit of a slacker, and I never like super late. Like a lot of like in the FLW days, I would get there, as like the last boat was taking off or something, or but and when me and Keith fish some team stuff, Fishers of Men, like sometimes we would jump in some of the divisions far away, and we would drive 5-6 hours to a tournament, and we'd get there at like 9 o'clock, and meet the people, meet the directors and stuff eating breakfast somewhere. They would check everything, and we'd dump in and fish the tournament. But yeah, I got my life together now. I get there on time. I get there early. I think it's a getting old thing.
Why do you get there early?
I don't know. I think because I'm like ready to go. Like I'm ready to, you know.
You still get like butterflies in the morning?
A little bit, or just antsy to go. Like when you get on the mic and start talking, then I know it's like, you know, like, oh, we're getting ready to go. Like, I'm getting jacked up, I don't know. I love it though.
You do. I mean, it's wild to watch you compete. And I've said this to you before. I mean, we get to all see each other kind of under all circumstances. You get to see people when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're, when good things are going their way, bad. Like, you know what I mean? You get to see if you spend that much time on the road. But dude, you just always bound of happiness. Like you're like the American Takumi.
Oh yeah.
You know how you look at Takumi and he's just always
he probably feels the same way I do. It's just, amazed to be there. It's incredible. I mean, that's the part, like, at that takeoff in the morning, you see all the guys. Here's guys you watched on TV, in your life. And like, it's like, in Europe, everybody, like, it's unreal. You're like, man, I'm here. I'm fishing the Bassmaster elites right now. I still feel like I'm that 20-year-old kid. That's why it's just incredible to, it's hard to believe sometimes, So there's no bad days being there. I mean, you're there, and I came in Smith Lake last year. I think I caught like 5 fish over 2 days, and I had a lot of really good bites, but I don't know. I thought I was going to be really, really mad and upset, and I don't know.
You can't get there.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, dude, I talked to you right after the Classic this year, like while you were like right at the loading docks. I was leaving, you were heading back to your boat. And you were bummed about the Classic, you know what I mean? You were just like, but you were still smiling like it. But that moment, and I feel like I've seen it, different people go through it, but like that moment where you're like, damn, I was close in this Classic. Like a couple of things go right, and this is mine.
Yeah.
How tough is that to deal with for you?
I do hate that part, but my first 2 days went really well in this last one, and then the final day, they just quit coming to me, because the wind kind of laid down and stuff, and they didn't have to swim all the way back there. But it made me realize how it could have been earlier in the week, and I could have not even been there that last day, So I mean, it's tough, and I want to win one, but I mean, when it, one of these days it'll line up,
It will.
I mean, hopefully.
Will.
And if not, whatever.
Stuff's still pretty good.
Yeah, stuff's still good. Still fishing there, as long as I get to keep going. I mean, that just making that tournament's like, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's just, it's one we all look forward to every year. And
yeah,
I don't know.
How does it feel different? Like in the mornings? We just talked about kind of sometimes jitters and the regular elite. Classic morning, what is it like for you?
It is a little intense. Everybody's out there and stuff. A lot of fans out there. I think I enjoy it because then it's, the field's smaller already, so it's like we already made a cut.
Yeah.
Usually fish is a little more open. Compared to this last time, we were all kind of fishing really close to each other, but. I don't know. It was just, and I love that March time of year. I mean, that's my favorite time to fish anywhere, So it's just, I'm just always like, man, I'm really glad it's right now in March and it's not in the middle of summer or the fall,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's fun to watch you compete. Do you realize that the reverence that people speak of you? Like, I mean, the fellow anglers, like, we're doing this frog thing together for official and unofficial, and another guy in that is Ish Monroe. And it's just like, well, who else is going to be on this? And I went through the people that are on it. And when he got to you, he's like, man, that guy, in my opinion, is the greatest natural shallow water angler in the sport. Like,
I don't even know. I mean, I've
how
watched
did that happen?
I don't even know. Like I've watched Ish my whole life, and that was, Ish was always, big line, frog flipping. And, I actually fished an FLW tournament uh, maybe like a month before you guys went down there. And I got second, and then I watched Ish go in and just destroy them and win. Like, and I was like thinking the whole time, I'm like, man, those fish were there the whole time. And like, he just like, he did it so well and won that one. And, yeah, it just is, gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You think you told me once, like, you don't want to ever stop doing this, but do you think, like, how late are you going to be the next Rick Clunn?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I'll live that long, but
lay off them Slurpees.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I have the health like Rick does, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if I'm not fishing these, I'm going to be fishing at home.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like as time goes on, if it starts getting too much, maybe I'll just cut practice out, and just wing it.
What would the perfect practice be for you? Like, if you could make the rules,
yeah.
What would it be? One day?
Yeah, I mean, one day would be cool. I mean, I do like riding around, kind of seeing everything. But I also, some of the most memorable tournaments, it's a different feeling when you show up and everybody else practice, and you go from one tournament to the next, and you show up the day of the tournament and you go out there and you figure it out that first day. I mean, it's like a whole nother level of excitement. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, I got them figured out, and it's just, but it can also go really bad too, but the times it has worked out, it's been awesome.
So you mean like it's a whole different level of excitement for you personally?
Yeah. It's just a whole different feeling. Like, you go out, you practice, you kind of have an idea what you're going to do. You go out, you fish the tournament. But man, when you show up, no practice. Sometimes I've showed up, never even been to the lake before. Show up and then put it together and be. One time I was leading at Sturgeon Bay the first day I showed up. That was insane. Like,
I remember that.
Yeah,
tournament.
And they like threw cameras in my boat and everything. And I'm like, guys, I've never even seen this place. Like, I was like so nervous. I was more nervous in that moment than any tournament ever. And I remember just catching them, like first stop, catching them every throw, and it was just like, boy, it was incredible feeling.
Take me through what you do in that. Like, so you go to, it doesn't have to be Sturgeon Bay. Mm-hmm. It can be wherever you want, but you go to a body of water you've never fished before. Like, how did you start that day? Like, what? I
mean, honestly, that morning, I knew, we just came from St. Clair, and I was catching them in the river, throwing at the walls and stuff. And, so when I came out of the boat ramp, I looked on my map, you got, it was at Green Bay to the left or whatever, or Lake Michigan to the left and something over to the right. I don't know. But when I went out there, I was like, man, it was just so overwhelming. And I hung a right and I went under a bridge and I was thinking about, oh, maybe I should hit that bridge. But then I looked up over to the right and there was a metal wall, just like we were at St. Clair. And I was like, well, we might as well try it. And oh my gosh, were they loaded on it. Oh my gosh. I think I caught like 100 pounds that day. It was insane. Yeah.
So it's really that,
you just go,
it's free.
Yeah, you just, and sometimes I'll ride. That's what I like, visually throwing at stuff. So everything I know is I've seen it with my eyeballs, so like a lot of times I'll just ride. And then when I see something that looks set up similar to somewhere I've been or done well, I try it out, so it's just trial and error. And
how much of it is gut feeling and how much of it is like mathematical, like I fished this at this time of year and this is why they're there?
And I fight with myself. That I do fight with myself a lot, but usually whatever's inside telling me to do something is usually like 90% right. But 50% of the time I don't want to do it. I want to do it the way I want to do it, or maybe even 90% of the time it's right. And I just don't want to I don't want to do it sometimes, like, that was like the whole spinning rod thing. Like, when I was fishing all these years, like I did not want to throw that spinning rod, I I wanted to use, braided line, bait casters. And I remember the first tournament, I pulled it out and I was like, okay, I practiced with it a bunch in the off season, whatever. Pulled up and I ended up winning the tournament on Hartwell with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I got to use this more, and it's I don't know. It's that spinning rod has definitely kept me going over the years, because
Yeah.
I don't know.
So is that exactly what's going on in your life with forward facing sonar?
Oh yeah, I'm fighting it. Oh yeah, I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it really. I'm really fighting it. I just don't. I enjoy what I do, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that visually seeing areas and knowing that they're good. I don't want to have to put the trolling motor in and then search and be like, okay, this. I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't want to try to relearn something that I really love. Kind of.
I feel like, and I mean this as a compliment, but you've explained this to me before, and I feel like John Cox is scared of forward-facing sonar. And what I mean by that is you're not scared to use it. You're just scared of what you have to give up to use it. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, and because if I put it on, I love looking at fish and throwing to them. That's my favorite thing to do. And to be able to do that all the time, it's scary.
Well, you're kind of committed now, though. Like,
if I put it on now, people might come burn my house down. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know if you noticed it. And I pay attention to this stuff. Maybe it's just a little wrestling geek in myself, but you got a pop. You always get a great pop from the crowd, wherever we are.
Yeah.
But you got a distinct pop every time I mentioned that you don't have forward-facing sonar at the Classic. Every time I mentioned that, you'd get the cheer, and then I'd say that, and then you'd get like there. It's become a, and that's actually why I did it, because I was like, "Am I just assuming that I heard that?" And then I did it again. But honestly, up to this point, there hasn't been that happen in a noticeable way where the crowd reacted to it. But it's kind of you now. I
don't know. I just don't know. I just think of me, getting into this when I was a kid. I wouldn't be here now. No way, So that's why I just, trying to, make it where, if that kid's out there watching a show and right now and they're out there pond fishing, they can be like, well, that guy's doing it,
Yeah.
So
I think that says a lot about you that you even think that.
Yeah.
Like, do you think the majority of the people you compete against think about the impact of what they're doing on the net?
I don't know, but
wants to have it good for kids.
Right.
And I shouldn't say the people you compete with. everybody on earth. Dude, if there's one parking spot and you're going to the mall at Christmas, very few people will stop for that little old lady. They'll be like,
yeah. No,
the world needs more people like you that would stop for that little old lady.
You just think of all the people you looked up to, as a kid and stuff. God, and they influence you so much, good or bad, So now now that I'm getting older, I'm seeing that, realizing that, that there are a lot of people looking up to us and watching us and, definitely, like my kids. They're, that's where I saw it the most, when they're, they'll tell you if you're doing something wrong.
No, I think it's the world needs more people that think like that. But you say you're fighting it. Like, when you say you're fighting it, like, is this like a demon that goes on your shoulder that just says, just do it, John?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just embrace the machine.
Oh, yeah. Just take it. Just put it on. You'll love it. You'll win. And I don't, I don't know. I might win with it. I don't know. I might not, but I just think too, like, if I'm able to win somehow, kind of like Lowen won in Florida this year and stuff, like, it's very, I mean, God, to win without it now in this day and age. I mean, that's a huge win, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to experience it before I put it on and don't get a chance to.
Yeah. Yeah. Because by the sounds of it, you feel like if you did put it on, you'd be very, I mean, dude,
I don't think they want me to put it on. I'm telling when I watch them kids and I watch what they do, I'm like, oh my gosh, they fish like I do.
Yeah.
Like they fish a lot. Like they do a lot of the same little sneaky stuff that I do when I'm, seeing them with my eyeballs, So I don't know.
It is the same stuff. You're 100% correct.
It's very the same, but it
is turned the entire season into perpetual sight fishing. I mean, you're still shaking a bait in front of a fish, whether it's in 12 inches of water or 12 feet of water. It's definitely, it's wild.
I don't know.
Only time will tell. I feel like we're closer. I feel like, and this is just my feeling, but I feel like that there'll be limitations at some point. I feel like we're closer to that today than we were maybe a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll probably end up, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking we'll either split it up or do something, I don't know.
Yeah. It's such a polarizing, weird topic. Like it drives people absolutely crazy. I meant not even to talk about it yet again on this podcast. But
here we are.
More importantly, what do you think of my hat? The Berkeley guys gave it to me, and I put it on thinking maybe make me look a little younger and cooler. Am I pulling it off, or do I just look like an old guy trying to be?
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got that one yet. That's the old trilene one. Yeah. I like that one.
I don't think they're sending it to regular folk like you. It's just like, give Mercer the old box of shitty hats. No, actually, they gave them out to everybody at one of the media events earlier this year. Yeah. So,
nice.
It's cool now. It's cool. Yeah. It's like bell bottoms. They're back.
Yeah, it looks good.
Avco not only makes incredible outdoor clothing, but they care about anglers with their 10% pledge. Avco and the Shed family donate at least 10% of the company's profits to conservation and making fishing better. Now back to the show.
What's the weirdest fashion thing you ever wore?
Oh, man. So a funny thing was I was at one of the kids tournaments, and I was it was real cold, and I had my swimsuit on and stuff, and I was walking around, and this is when my kids were real little. I was just doing it because they were short, a couple captains or whatever, and I'm walking around, and then one of the kids, everybody's kind of looking at me funny. I'm like, hey, and one of the kids' dad comes up to me, and he's like, hey, what's that thing, stuck here on your, is that to cover your mouth or whatever? And I reach over and peel it off the Velcro, and it was one of my kids' socks, one of their baby socks. And I looked at it and I was like, nope, that's just a kid's sock. Didn't know? Yeah. And so the whole time everybody thought it was some kind of new thing that covered your face that was attached to the front of the suit. But no, it was just the sock. Just the sock.
You could have made it cool if you committed to it.
Yeah. I mean, they were all like, what is that? What do you use that for? And I was like, nope. Yeah. It's just a sock.
Growing up, do you remember were you ever at that age where you were like, hey, I need that cool shirt, or I need that cool bike, or I need that cool rod?
Yeah. I remember. I remember there was these pants because I used to jump my bike and stuff when I was in middle school, and there was these pants that I always wanted. They were like cargo pants. They made them right down the street, and I remember dragging my mom into this warehouse and picking out a couple pairs, and I wore them every day. But yeah.
Did they make you cooler?
God, I felt cool in them. I'm not gonna lie, because only me and one or two of my other buddies had them. They weren't. No one really knew about them. I don't know if they were making them there or what, but
yeah. Most of my clothes growing up came from a store that was like an Ontario store called Bargain Harold's. But Bargain Harold's was I can't even compare it to Dollar General, because Dollar General's
Whoa.
pretty cool now. Like it's not
Yeah.
as like you know what I
Oh,
mean. But like
yeah.
Bargain Harold's would have like particular. I forget the brand, but like it wouldn't be like the Polo. It would be like just a guy on a horse. And I felt like as a kid, you're like, it's just like the polo shirts
Yeah.
everybody else wearing. But my parents couldn't afford a polo, so I've got this guy on a horse. And I just felt like it glowed. Like as a kid, you were just like now I'd be like, screw you. It was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
It's just the same shirt.
Yeah.
But then you were just like, oh God, everyone knows I got the guy on a horse shirt.
Yeah. It might be cool to have that now. I don't know.
Probably. I mean,
yeah.
Bargain Harold's. Who doesn't want to shop there?
Yeah, exactly.
It's out of business now. It's
gone. It's gone.
God, it was a beautiful store. Bargain Harold's and Byway were the two stores, and everybody, like if you had the knockoff Nikes, they were Jikes or whatever they were, and everybody knew. So you looked at each other with shame. Yeah, you're broke too. What is your dream in this sport? Just to like, what is it? Like, if I could be a genie and say, dude, you get 3 wishes to accomplish in this sport, what are they?
The number one is to just be able to get my kids through all their school. That's been my number. That and feed them, and then second would be to pay my house off. And then third would probably be to win a classic. Win a classic would be cool.
Yeah.
But,
that'd be a fun party.
Yeah, that would. That'd be, man, that'd be nice. No.
I mean, you were close this year. It can happen.
Yeah. One day.
You just gotta put it out in the universe.
Yeah, maybe we'll get them. Maybe we'll get them to come to Florida again one day.
God, I would love that.
I have to maybe twist. I mean, it'd be nice in March in Florida. Either do Harris Chain, Toho, weigh in at the convention center or something.
Which would you, if you could set up the classic in Florida? Where are we fishing? Where's the weigh-in?
So yeah, I would like Harris Chain or Toho, but one I really was thinking hard would be Winter Haven Chain. And we weigh in at Legoland.
Oh, damn.
Right?
I like the sounds of that.
I mean, it'd be incredible. It's right there on the wall. I mean, they could fill the stands there at Legoland where the old ski stuff used to be, where Venetian Guard, like they used to have
so the weigh-in could be on the water.
Oh, there's a huge area looking out over. We could drive the boats through and do the weigh-in. I mean, we could do it right there.
I like the sounds of
It'd be epic.
So we're not in an arena. We're outdoors?
We're on the lake.
Yeah.
They have the outdoor seating, arena style, where they do all the ski stuff that they do. And we can pull our boat in, tie it off real quick, bring our fish up, weigh them.
Boom.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it'd be pretty epic. I feel like it's going to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, you put it out in the universe.
I mean, it's a great place. They got all the rooming down there. Legoland for the families. I've never been there, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's live from Legoland.
Oh, I'm sending the email to him.
As soon as trying to put the pieces together.
Yeah, as soon as I get, I'm sending an email to him.
Yeah,
we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah, it should. It should. I mean, I'm pretty certain it will. Hey, you lied to me last time we did a podcast.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. You did. It's been a while. I mean, we did one with you and Keith, but it's been like 2 years since we've done one like this. So what the hell? I mean, we enjoy I enjoy it anyway, so I don't know why it's been so long. But you did lie, so maybe that's so long. Because you told me about your gator hunt and the noises the skull made and such, and like it was a dinosaur, and you're into that. You said you'd never do that again, and lo and behold, you're a freaking gator hunter again. What happened?
I like it too much. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the hanging out with the guys and going to Waffle House at 2 a.m. or
you can do that without gators.
I know, but there's something about it when, especially like where we go is it's not easy. Like, I mean, it might be easy. We just don't know what we're doing, but it's very hard. Like, you're chasing these things all night. They're smart. I like the hunt part of it,
Yeah.
just try, and I don't know. But yeah, I can't stop. I actually, 30 minutes ago before we started this, I put in for my one tag I could, and then they have this super hunt where you can apply as many times as you want. And I put in maybe about 20 times for that one.
Oh, wow.
Now, hopefully those don't get drawn because they're 500 a pop, which I don't think I would get 20 of them, but I mean,
You might.
you never know.
Wow.
So if we do, we'll have a bunch of tags if you want to go gator hunting.
Okay. I mean, sure. I'm up for anything. Well, I swam with sharks this year, so I'll gator hunt.
Oh, you're good then. Yeah.
I would never swim with a gator, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
No, they're short-legged aquatic T-Rex. Is that all that is?
Yeah, they are.
Is it true that you use forward-facing sonar for gator hunting?
Oh God.
I'm sorry to expose your truths.
So we got down to the last day, not last year, but the year before. The last day we could kill one. We had one tag left, and we put it on. We put it on, and we went out and we got one.
I mean, I imagine they're easy to see. I mean, if you can see a bass, you can see a gator.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Like, it would go down, you troll up to it, it would be sitting there, and you flip the hooks to it. Got them, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, there's so much to like, you see like the bubbles coming up, or you see them like go over this way. They're really good at hiding when they get down there. So, but not with that forward facing. But we haven't used it since. Did
that gator feel less? Like,
I don't know. We were pretty pumped up on that one because I mean, you're talking
the last day.
Yeah, it was the last day. We were maybe 10 days in of not getting them. Yeah. And it was one we were chasing. Like, it was one. I mean, we were chasing like 10 different ones, but that was one of them. So it was like, oh, we got you.
Wow.
But I don't know.
How do you actually? So you said you put the hooks to it. Do you snag them or?
Yeah. So we have like
work?
2 big Penn spinning reels.
Okay.
Penn rods. We got it on like, I don't know, like maybe 65 Durbraid or X5, and then we got this big truck. I actually got one right here.
Oh wow. John Cox making a move right now to get his.
So that's
the silver spider.
Yeah, that's right there. What you tie on, and so you take, you
I used to use one of those for suckers in the creek.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So you 2 guys get up front. You see the alligator. We run at him full speed, and he'll dive down, and we'll both cast at the same time, and then you let it get down there, and you reel up and you try to snag them. Sometimes they'll stay up, and you can snag them. But then the fight's on, and usually one person will hook up, and then the other person will try to get another hook in them, because you'll fight them for a while, and the line will break, or you want to have 2 lines on them, and then once you get them up to the boat, then you either hit them with the bang stick if you can, or hook them on a big treble on like a rope, which I don't really like doing that because someone always seems to put it like behind my leg or somewhere where it shouldn't be, Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. And then another way is you can bait them. You can put a big beef lung on a fishing pole. You see the alligator, you drop it out, give it like 500 yards, sit in the bushes there, and wait for him to swallow it. And then that's like your guide to when you get up to him, and you flip near that line and hook them on the trebles. But
they like beef lung, do they?
Not as much as I hear other guys. Other guys are using like tilapia, like blowing them up, and then I think different kinds of like chicken, maybe.
What do you mean blowing them up?
Like they'll. I don't.
This is a wormhole we've got.
Well, I think they put foam in it. Actually, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be. This might be top secret stuff.
Oh wow, I'm sorry.
From the great Shaw Grigsby, but
he is a great. I mean,
hey, let me tell you. So we were struggling, and he said, "This is on the beef lung," and he was like, "Man, he's like, you got to leave it out there and pop it like a topwater," and I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Beef lung.
Yeah, I'm like, work it like work it like a topwater, and he's like, "Yeah," and Sure enough, that night we got one, popping it like that, just like he said. And we were popping it, and it just, because we were just leaving it out there. We didn't know, you bait and wait. That's what we thought.
Oh my
And
God.
we got one that first night he told us to do that.
God.
He's the master at it.
He is.
Him and Scroggins.
Every time I see Shaw, I've talked to him about that. He starts talking about other stuff, and I'm like, just tell me about your gator hunts.
Yeah. And now he's doing like trapping. Like when you have a nuisance one, he comes out and gets them. So like he's not even killing those. Like he'll catch them and then throw them in the truck and relocate them.
Imagine how weird that must be for some people. They just call about their nuisance gator, and Sean Grigsby shows up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you
rocking
imagine
the Ned Flanders mustache?
I might prank call him one day and tell him I got one just to get him to come out here.
Him and his grandson Bryce.
Yeah.
That's who does it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that one day.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that you used forward facing sonar for it, but that's fine. It's fine. You just want to show the world that you can, but you choose not to.
I guess. Yeah.
I think we've talked about a lot of things here today, John.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know.
Did that.
Yeah.
It's been a good conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Always enjoy it. Too bad we didn't have Keith on. He's fishing another tournament somewhere.
That's what he does. That's what he does. Last time you guys got in trouble with that bear.
Oh yeah, its tongue ripped out. Remember that? We were at Alex Davis's uncle's. Yeah, and it was like the tongue came right out of the bear's head.
Yeah. Forgot all about that. I knew you had trouble with it. I didn't realize what it was.
The tongue just came out of it. I was like, oh my gosh, we broke it.
What did you do? Did you just put it back in, or did you glue it? Or
no, we put it back in. It was a rug with the bear head.
Yeah,
and Keith had it over his shoulders or something.
Yeah,
something. And then
as you would.
Something. Yeah, I don't know. We were playing.
As you do. Well, that's the one and only John Cox, and here's the only thing I'm leaving this podcast from. We need to do this more, dude.
Yeah, man. Whatever. You tell me when. And we should go gator hunting this end of this year.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
But just so you know, I'm popping that beef lung like Shaw Grigsby.
All right. Yeah.
Do you let the lines dissipate?
Yeah. You want to let the rings. It's just like working that top water. You pop it, let the rings kind of go away, and then give it another pop. Yep.
Oh, how are the blow-ups? It's probably not as aggressive a blow-up as you think, because they probably just go, arr.
Yeah, but you can hear them. They'll hold their head up and you'll see your line kind of moving. You're like, oh yeah, he's eating it.
Yeah.
Wow. It's fun.
All right. See ya.
All right. See you, Dave. See you in 2 days or a day or something.
Yeah, we're somewhere
whenever we get there.
Texas. I'll see you in Orange, Texas.
Yeah.
Congrats.
All right.
Congrats. Hey, let's just imagine you won Lake Fork.
All right. Yeah, Lake Fork was awesome, man. Got the Berkeley Nessie, caught all them giant ones. Whew. Man, what an epic week that was.
Good times.
All right, see you, Dave.
See you, buddy.
From the always jovial John Cox to Byron's Bunker.
Byron's Bunker. He tells a story and then sells you some stuff.
Firsts are very special and very important, and this is the very first Byron's Bunker. We're going to make this into a thing, Byron, unless it crashes and burns this first one. But every month you're going to join the show. You're going to regale us with one of your amazing stories, and then we're going to sell some stuff.
I love that. It's easy. All I got to do is Google Byron's Bunker or maybe go to eBay and look at Byron's Bunker. But I want to sell a bunch of stuff because I'll never use all this tackle again, Mercer. And I'm not fishing tournaments anymore. So like, wiggle warts, I'm never going to throw a wiggle wart again. So I got boxes of wiggle warts. I might as well I'm not going back to Table Rock. I'm not fishing Missouri anymore. I'm not fishing the Midwest. Like, the deal, dude. You got all this tackle. You're like, if you're not on tour, what the heck are you going to do with all of it?
People like wiggle warts.
I was surprised when I looked up how much they're going for, but that's That's for the end of the show. Let's talk about the beginning of the show, like you said.
All right. Well, let's jump right. Story time with Byron Velvick. Where are we going this month?
You know, I'm glad the other day you asked about this, and I know you told me not to tell you this story, and it's a story that's really special to me. And I was inducted into the West Coast Hall of Fame. I never got invited anywhere near the Fishing Hall of Fame like the big kids, but for the West Coast, I got the invitation to be inducted. And it was a really special induction because Rick Clunn and Melissa were there. We were sharing a houseboat on Lake Mojave. And Rick, as you know, I talk about all the time, he's like a mentor. He's helped me through my whole career. You know, he took me under his wing, flew me out to Texas back when he lived in Texas, had me come visit him there several times, convinced me to go from the regional fisherman out west to a national fisherman. That's really who did it, was Clunn. He saw me on the lake a lot of times. He saw me at U.S. Opens. That's where first thing that happened in college was I drew Rick Clunn. So I drew him when I was a college kid and a pro draw, of course. And we had a really, really hard day. He caught 2, I caught none. Just typical Lake Mead sometimes back in the day where if you caught 5, you were a hero. And I fished with Rick, but side by side, mano a mano, fishing with Rick Clunn, I was just in awe of the fact that I was fishing with a legend as a college kid. And one of the cool side stories, we're in the car driving to the lake, and on the dash of his car is Henry David Thoreau Walden Pond. Like, how crazy is that? He's got Walden Pond, American philosopher Thoreau, and I'm a philosophy major in college. I'm like, dude, why is there a book of Thoreau on the thing? He goes, oh, it's one of my favorite books to read. I'm like, Clunn, right? That's Clunn. He's reading American philosophers in a fishing tournament. So,
he told me he used to read while he drove.
He did, and he got me to do that too.
He would be like reading while driving.
And I'm in the school of Rick, man. I'm in the school of Rick. So you go along. You're out in New Mexico, Arizona, and you put it on cruise control, and you read a book, and you look up every now and then. I would read books again. Clunn was like he had such a huge influence over me, and that's where this story comes in, because there was a moment. The most important thing that could have happened at the Hall of Fame induction was I could have told this story. And I was a basket case, and I was nervous. Mercer, unlike you, I'm not a pro at this stuff. You get up and you're like the man of the hour. You just own the room, public speaking. And I am the opposite of that. Like, put me in front of a camera like this, just me and the little thing there, I'm good. But put me in front of a room of 10 kids for a club tournament thing, I'm a jello. I'm a mess. And I suck at public speaking. So what happened was the Hall of Fame event, I have this story I want to tell, and I got up on stage and I had severe fright, and I never got to tell the story that I'm going to tell now. And it would have been very important to me to tell at that time because Rick Clunn was sitting in the audience with Melissa, and it was a thank you to them. And it was also an amazing story. And you want me to just go into it, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, no. Let's just jump right into it. And I'll make sure Rick hears this. So,
well, yeah, that would be great if you could make sure he hears this. That would be cool.
I'll ask him to. I mean, you can't make sure Rick does anything. So
Rick was a huge, like I said, influence on me. And, he convinced me to move to Lake Mead for the U.S. Open because I had won my first U.S. Open at 26. And he said, you need to live on a tournament lake and have that in your back pocket and everything. But it was that first win in I can't remember what year it was now, 1990 or 91. God, I have to look at the trophy, but a long, long, long time ago when I was 26, decades, lots and lots of decades ago, I win the U.S. Open at Lake Mead. And at that time, Zell Rowland, Denny Brower, Rick Clunn, you name it, Jimmy Houston, everybody came because it was right after a BAS event. One of the top national BAS events were at Lake Mead. And directly after that event was the U.S. Open. So it kept a lot of pros out there. And back then that was a huge showcase tournament, $50,000 plus a boat, and all this other stuff, check for $50,000 and a boat and everything else. And I'm a kid, 26 years old. My boat broke down. The Skeeter that I bought from Jay Yellis broke down. So I'm fishing out of a borrowed boat with no electronics, a little 17-foot boat with a 150 on it. And I'm around all my peers. Like at night, I'm asking for their autographs and stuff. I'm so excited to be fishing against everybody I've ever read about in a magazine, anybody I've ever seen anywhere on television. And they're all at the U.S. Open at Lake Mead. You could pinch me. I'm so excited. And I go out. And the one thing I noticed was that nobody was bed fishing. And this was in April. And nobody was bed fishing like they do now. It was something that didn't happen back then 40 years ago, 45 years ago. Not a lot of guys were bed fishing. And I'd go around looking, and I was like an ate up little kid, 20-year-old California kid, and I loved bed fishing. I found out about it when I was a teenager, and it was a niche thing. Like Shaw Grigsby, you remember, Shaw was like one of the few. Shaw had bed fishing to himself on the national tour. We'll come out to Lake Mead, and there's a few of us kids that are bed fishing, and I drive around while there are tournaments going on for Bassmaster, and I see guys Carolina rigging, spinner baiting, cranking. Mercer, I go into every pocket and I see all these beds, and I'm like, how are these Bassmaster guys not whaling on these fish? Like the bed fishing's insane. The fish are on beds everywhere, and I'm not competing with anybody in practice that's running the banks looking at bedfish. So as much as I'm a fan of everybody at the registration and the partner pairing, I'm like, man, I am so excited about this tournament because my fish are not being tapped at all. And John Murray is a good friend of mine at the time, and he's not even bed fishing back then at all. And I'm keeping it quiet, but I'm like, yeah, I've seen some fish. I'm just doing some stuff, and just bed fishing wasn't a thing. U.S. Open, 26 years old. I go out and I just start wrecking them. Tournament. First day, I'm probably in the top 5. Second day, I'm leading the tournament. And I remember clearly, Murray comes up to me and he says, hey, he goes, if you catch 5 tomorrow, you win the U.S. Open. And I'm Mercer. I mean, I get goosebumps telling you this because I still had a whole island in the middle of the lower basin that was full of beds. And every day of the tournament, I would drive by this island. I never saw a boat fishing the island. The whole island never had a boat on it. Big, giant island. And I'd go around the island looking. I never saw anybody fishing it. And there's beds all over it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can catch 5. You know, I mean, I can catch 5 the last day. And Murray goes, you got a 3-pound lead going into the last day. You will win the U.S. Open. On Lake Mead, that's huge. If you have a 3-pound lead going into the last day, you're going to win the tournament. So last day of the tournament, I go out, I catch my 5th fish at 11 in the morning, and I literally felt this euphoria. Like I knew I had won, you know, and I had jumped through my skin. It was like Maslow calls it like a peak experience, where you just have this moment where you feel like you touched perfection. You know, everything I'm telling you guys is what I experienced. And then something really weird happened. I had the most amazing last day. I come in and I literally feel myself deflating. Like I feel myself getting everybody's, hey, you won. And they give you the check and there's this depression setting in. And this is really weird. Like everybody's congratulating you. They give you the money, they give you the boat, and you're feeling like this letdown, like this thing's coming down on me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? And through the course of the next day or that evening, and the next day we go to the bar and you got the drinks and everything. And you're like, man, I don't think I'm doing the right sport. And I remember telling Rick Clunn that I think I picked the wrong thing to do for a living. Like I told Rick that I just won the U.S. Open and I was insanely unhappy afterwards. And Rick has me fly out to his house. We're in Texas. I'll never forget this. And Rick, I got to thank him for the rest of my life for this. Rick has me in his den at his house in Texas. And he goes, tell me what's going on with you. Because he could sense something was off. And I go, you know, I won the U.S. Open. I'm out here to go with you to ICAST, and I feel depressed. I feel bummed. I feel like, you know, I'm in the wrong sport. I go, you know, I was the youngest guy to win the U.S. Open, and I'll never forget this, Mercer. You know, Rick goes, tell me the whole process. Tell me everything that happened. And I told the story to him, just like I told it to you just now. And I talk about it, and he has this huge smile on his face. And I'm talking about, he goes, wait, tell me more about that last day. And I go into these details, Dave, about every fish and catching them. And he wants to know every detail. And I tell him that when I caught that 5th fish, Rick, I go, I literally felt the most amazing sensation. Like my soul jumped out. I jumped in my boat and I felt like my soul jumped out of my skin. I touched heaven. I go, it's all I can say. I touched perfection. I don't know what it was. And then, you know, everything else kind of was awesome. Driving in, the sun's kind of going down. I'm driving across the lake and I know I just won. And then I get in and all of a sudden it all starts to go down. And Rick tells me to, and I'm going to get emotional. Rick tells me, go stand up. I go, what? He goes, stand up. And he gives me a huge hug in his den in Texas. And he says, don't you ever quit doing this because you love it for all the right reasons. He goes, you love the process. You touched perfection and you don't want the money. You don't care about beating your friends. You don't care about, you know, as sponsors and accolades. You love the process of the tournament. And you fished a perfect tournament, your first perfect tournament. And Rick went on to explain, you know, fishing the perfect tournament, whether you win or lose, leaving that water, knowing that you were the best you could be that day, even if it doesn't get you the victory, leaving the lake knowing that you had the best tournament you could possibly have. And Rick saved my career in that US Open, because I honestly thought that after winning and the money and the boats and everything, I thought, man, I need to go find something else to do, because this isn't my gig. I shouldn't be bummed out after winning the US Open at 26, and Rick steered me the other direction. And I owe him for that. And it's truly an amazing lesson that I learned from Rick Clunn. And I'm glad to hear he might be watching this. And I wish I would have said it, Rick and Melissa, I wish I would have told the story at the Hall of Fame event. But I was too nervous and I was all screwed up. And I kicked myself every minute of the day for 2 months for not telling Rick in his face with Melissa the story of how he inspired me to stay in fishing at 26 years old, for all the right reasons, Dave.
I've run a Yamaha outboard for over 30 years. It has got me home safe each and every time. If you enjoy this podcast, remember, Yamaha supports it, and they care enough about you to make this ad read very short. Now back to the show. Wow, that's incredible. So did you ever feel that feeling again throughout your career? Or did him accepting it make it different?
This is a feeling like when my daughter was born. Like, my daughter being born was a peak experience. And I was in college, and Maslow was a philosopher, and they talked about peak experiences and a child being born. Clear Lake was definitely one of them. The first time I won Clear Lake, I was, 83 pounds, and I set the record. That was close, but the US Open at 26 was the strongest. At first, it was my first major victory. I'd won some small regional stuff, but that was beating, I'm asking for these guys' autographs every day at the tournament, and then I beat everybody. But when I got on the water, I was just trying to be the best I could be. I didn't care that I beat Zell Rowland and Denny Brower and Rick Clunn and everybody else there. For me, I just wanted to fish a perfect tournament. I just wanted to catch the biggest bass I could. And it wasn't about bragging rights. I didn't want to brag. These guys were my idols. But I knew that I was doing something that nobody else was doing, especially I had been doing it for probably 10 years by then, and Shaw Grigsby was the only real sight fisherman I knew of, that was a famous sight fisherman, but a lot of guys weren't. And a lot of guys, I went back east, Dave, and guys would tell me, well, if you can get that close to a bass, he's probably sick. I mean, I'm telling you that. I drew guys in Florida that told me if I'm getting this close to a bass, that bass is sick. Because I was bed fishing in Florida, and I have a pro draw, and the guy in the back of the boat goes, well, that bass is sick. I go, no, it's not. It's spawning. He goes, what are you talking about? And this is a pro draw.
Wow.
And these guys back then were like, that bass is sick. I'm like, it's not sick. It's spawning. Well, I don't understand. I'm like, well, you're going to see the male and the female, and I'm going to catch the male, then I'm going to catch the female. And I'm educating these pro draws I'm having back east. But there was once upon a time when sight fishing was basically unknown. And it was really special that they had a US Open in April that year. And it afforded me to win my first major title. And yeah, Dave, Clear Lake was a good one. With my child being born was a huge moment. And that Rick Clunn, that Rick Clunn moment where he inspired me to stay in it. Wow. I mean, wow. I almost teared up, and I told that story before crying. So I'm glad I didn't cry today on your show.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. That really is truly incredible. The sight fishing thing, when it first became, what did it get a lot of pushback? I mean, because it still gets pushback today. There's a percentage of population that thinks that we shouldn't do it at all.
Yeah. Back then, most people weren't doing it. I remember Kent Brown famously said, he goes, what's Byron doing on his trolling motor driving around? He goes, and people would say, what did you lose? They thought you lost a rod or something, because your hands are in your pocket. You're driving around with your trolling motor down. You're looking, and they're like, did he lose his car keys or his cell phone or his fishing rod? Because he's in the water looking around. I clearly remember the days when people looked at you weird. So sight fishing, back then you didn't get a lot of pushback because nobody was doing it. There came a point in my career, before I retired, where I started feeling bad about it, especially when you're catching fry garters, you're just watching that pod of fry get decimated by the bluegill, and man, catching a fry garter or the bed getting robbed. I mean, there is a pain to that. It's like you're doing it because it's the necessary evil. But at the same time, in the early days, not a lot of guys were doing it. Now everybody's doing it. And when a tournament happens, there's a lot of beds that are damaged, and a lot of, females are snatched off the beds, and the males guarding the eggs or the fry get pulverized. And so later on, as it became very popular, and it's difficult. I mean, I could see where there's pushback for it, because it's one of those times you have to do it, but at the same time, You don't want to. I don't do it for fun. I don't go out there. I don't fish small little tournaments, bed fishing, and just destroy a bunch of beds for, $800, a regional tournament. On the national tour, you were forced to do it because for me, that's the only way I could be competitive. And again, Rick Clunn, he was interested in sight fishing. I taught him a lot. It was cool that Rick would call me. Those are those messages you wish you had on your phone.
Yeah.
Hey, Byron, it's Rick. I just want to pick your brain a little bit about this bed fishing, sight fishing or swim baits. Hey, Byron, it's Rick. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to play this for all my friends. Hey guys, check it out. Rick Clunn called me to talk about swim baits. Hey guys, check it out. Rick Clunn called me to talk about sight fishing. Like, who does that? Like, when does that happen? In what universe? Like, I'm one of your idols, your absolute idols. And yeah, it was an amazing time. And I could see where there's a lot of pushback for it. I understand that.
Yeah. Clunn is truly an amazing gift. I mean, I get your feeling. I mean, anytime he's ever called me, I'm like, oh. The first time he ever called me, I literally answered the phone because I didn't have his number in my phone at that time. And it showed up Ava, Missouri. And I literally answered the phone. Who's calling from the town that Rick Clunn lives in? And
That's what you said?
And he goes, it is he.
And he said it in such a soft voice, you had to listen. It's like I heard a very faint voice. It is he. Because I swear to God, when I talk to Rick on the phone, it's like, okay, I got to shut the radio off. I got to stop driving, roll up the windows. I'm like, because Rick, he's like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, people listen, but boy, he speaks very soft. And it's very poignant. And like me, I'm just a jabbermouth. I'm just a chatterbox and a half, and I can talk all day long like this. And maybe something I said has some resonance. With him, it's like 6 words come out, and 4 of them are like.
Oh yeah, everything that comes out of his mouth matters. He's an amazing man. Great story.
He was inspiration. That's a story. If I ever get asked to go to the real Hall of Fame, not the West Coast Fishing Hall of Fame, but the real Hall of Fame, I will make sure I have that story ready to go, because that's one that's an important lesson for young anglers and all that. I mean, love the process, love the sport, love being imperfect on the water. And Rick explained that. He goes, Byron, there's tournaments I didn't win where I was still perfect. I fished the best, cleanest, didn't lose any fish, was on the best quality fish. I still finished 3rd, 5th, or 7th, but I fished a perfect tournament. And that's all Rick would chase, is the perfect tournament, that flawless time on the water. Even if you're not on the biggest fish, I was by far on the biggest fish because I was able to cull with my eyes. And that's before, forward-facing sonar and Alabama rigs, those lopsided big weights back in the day in spring, were either swim baits. Before swim baits, it was all sight fishing. Like, sight fishing was light years ahead of everything else. Everybody else had 12 pounds, and you could have 18 or 20 because you were culling with your eyes. You could go pick and choose which fish you want down the bank, And so that's where you could dominate a tournament, because you could pick 18 pounds off with your eyes, where everybody else is dragging a Carolina rig or throwing a crankbait, and maybe they catch 12. And it used to be the dominant way to fish before swim baits, Alabama rigs, and then forward-facing sonar.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right, now time for the second part of the segment. Byron's
Rick
Bunker.
Clunn autographed crankbaits.
Look at how that segued. You're dealing with a pro.
Dude, he signed them. I got some Rick Clunn autographs. So he's like, I got my eBay store back up, and I go, Rick, would you do me a favor at the Classic and sign a few more of these? And he's gracious enough to know that he gave me all these poses a long time ago. Some of them were signed, some of them weren't. So obviously the signed ones, I'm like, gosh, I'll ask Rick if he'll sign a few more. And, I'm glad him and Melissa are so supportive and so kind. And, they know that I'm basically retired now and raising my daughter and just fishing around here in Texas and trying to eliminate everything I got that I'll never use again on eBay, buddy.
Yeah, no, they're amazing people. So
they are.
So
I'll make sure they watch this too. I'll mention this as well when I talk to them next time.
Yeah, I'll give you another segue too. The fact that we're kind of doing like whatever you want to refer to it as, like kind of residency where you come on once a month. Yeah. You're also the only other person we ever did that with is Rick Clunn.
No way.
So it all ties in together.
Oh my gosh, I'm in the best company ever.
Don't screw it up. His segments were nice really good, Byron.
A mentor and a friend. He's a brother, he's a mentor, and he's a friend. I call him like a dad, but I know he hates that when I say father figure, because I didn't have a dad, from when I was 10 years old. So to him taking me under my wing and taking me under his wing and showing me around and really encouraging me to go national. He saw me fishing regionally, and he saw me have some pretty bad experiences with draws. Certain pro draws where guys would take you off your fish even though you were in the top 5, and a guy wanted to be 50th. Was trying to make a check, And Rick would be like, you need to come fish the national tour. And he was very, very persuasive in me giving up just being a West Coast fisherman. And so I owe him a lot for that.
An amazing man. And you think about it in competition, how many people would do the opposite. When they see somebody with a little skill, a young person coming up would be like, there's the people that ruin that. Like that.
There's so many that ruin that, Dave. There is a mafia of guys that, and I won't name those names, but there are.
Maybe next segment.
I got horror story on top of horror story about that. But there was an old guard that hated all of us young guys coming up, and including me, Murray, Skeet, Aaron, Brett Height. I mean, I can tell you, we all had big, giant targets on our back, and they were, taking shots at us big time because we were stealing their money, and they were all about just crushing it, and didn't like the young guys coming up taking their thunder.
Wow. So Byron's Bunker, you've learned more about eBay. You were telling me. How do we find you?
You can Google Byron's Bunker. So I'm at the Classic, and a guy comes up and he saw your podcast, and he says, dude, he goes, I hear you on Mercer talking about Byron's Bunker, but when I go on my thing and I Google it, I type in Byron's Bunker, nothing comes up. So this is crazy. I go, really? I go, give me your phone. Let me try that. I never tried this. I tried putting Byron's Bunker in his phone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't find me. And then I found out from somebody else, you have to Google Byron's Bunker, then it comes up. So I call eBay. This is funny. Here's the phone numbers for eBay right here. I call the eBay 100 hotline. No joke, right here. 800 eBay. And I talk to somebody in India or Pakistan or wherever they're from, those international telebank people.
Okay.
I explain the problem, Dave. And she goes, oh, very good point. I will share with our tech department. But I'm like, I have a store called Byron's Bunker on eBay. If you go to eBay and you put in Byron's Bunker, nothing comes up. So why is that? Like, why can't you find the store? Well, apparently eBay, after that phone call, changed. So now when you type it in on eBay, it actually shows up like user, eBay user, and you can click on Byron's Bunker. So after that 30-minute phone call to eBay, I think they changed the algorithm within their thing. So you can either Google it or go on the thing. But yeah, I'm on Byron's Bunker, and I got like 70 things listed. Funny story. So I didn't know this would work. So last night I put a whole bunch of auctions on it. It says Byron's Bunker Mercer. There's a whole bunch of auctions that say Byron's Bunker Mercer in the title. So if somebody types in Mercer or Byron's Velvick, these auctions come up with your name and my name on it. And that was the only thing where you could actually put it in the product title. Like, 99 cents for 6 bags of Berkeley worms, 99-cent auctions like galore. So all these 99-cent auctions, bidding war. But I figured I'd just do a podcast, a Mercer podcast, Byron Velvick auctions. So I'm auctioning you off, basically.
Oh, that'd be fine. I mean, worse has happened to me.
Yeah, well, I got like wiggle warts. I got a whole, I'll never use these again. I was talking about that. I got a boxes full of wiggle warts that I'll never use again here in Texas. So, and I don't know. I saw on eBay some are going for like $80. There's one for $400. I don't know if you know about that. There's a eBay.
It's crazy.
Crazy. On sale right now for $400. I don't know if this is one of the $400 ones. I know some are pre-Pradco or pre-Rapala or something like that. I'm just going to put them all on there, but I got boxes of these wiggle warts. And I got something for your viewers. I got to ask about this.
Oh, wow.
Because I'd love somebody to tell me who makes this. I got all these swim baits. See all these swim baits here? See all these gizzard shad swim baits?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a swim bait guy, so everybody and their mother, I got millions and millions of these swim baits I got to sell. Different brands, like, the old True Tungsten. That was a big popular one, the True Tungsten. But this one right here has a signature on it, and I don't know. Let's see if I can get this up there. I don't know. Mercer, do you recognize that? Can you tell me who makes that swim bait? I don't know the signature on that.
I don't know, but I bet you in the comments people will tell us.
If somebody can tell me who made these, I got a whole bunch of these, and I'm looking at them going, I don't know who the heck made that swim bait, and they signed it too. And it's all signed the same. I gotta just find without the glare.
Wow.
If somebody in the comments can tell me, it's signed and numbered.
Yeah.
These are signed and numbered glide baits, and they're really cool. They're foil finish. And I don't know even what they are, so I can't list them without, I need to know the name of it and who makes it.
All right.
It's all these little glide baits. So maybe somebody can help me. I got all these other stuff. I got river to sea baits and swim baits. I'm going to start doing swim bait Sundays. On Sundays, I'm going to do all swim baits on Sunday. So I'm just going to list 20 more swim baits this coming Sunday.
Gosh, I like it.
You know how it is. You got it too. Oh my God, the live target.
Yeah.
I need all your live target stuff.
You need it all.
The traps are selling for 25 to 30 bucks a piece, and I had someone just buy a whole bunch of them. Like all these live target baits are going crazy right now, Mercer, and I know you got a bunch.
I do have a bunch. Well, we can fill Byron's bunker.
You could. I'll pay a commission to all your cool stuff, like all the stuff in the backpack there that you want to eliminate.
Well, we'll continue to fill Byron's bunker, and you're going to be back here once a month, every month, the Byron Velvick residency.
Dude, I'm so honored to be on there. Thank you so much. And by the way, anybody mentions they saw us on this podcast, I throw in a little something extra like I have every time. I get a whole, hey, I'm buying this wiggle word on there, and I saw you on Mercer's podcast, so something else is coming in the mail with it.
Check it out, Byron's bunker. Don't miss out.
Bass Center hats. You got your Bass Center hat finally.
I do. Where is it? It's in here. I'll have it in a good location so that I can show it up.
It should be in a framed plexiglass.
It's at the framers right now. It's at the framers.
Yeah. The Bass Center, Byron Velvick Bass Center hat from a million years ago when you and I were starting off in television.
It was a while ago.
Thank you so much for having me on, and I can't wait for Rick to finally hear my story of gratitude. Rick Clunn story of gratitude in fishing.
And the good news is we don't have to wait long to see him again. Once a month, you can tune in and check out Byron's bunker.
And I'll have updates for you on stuff that's selling, and I'll encourage Mercer to start shipping stuff from Canada to me so I can sell it for him.
Deal.
Or bring it to Lake Fork, or bring it to Orange, Texas. Pack your suitcase full of stuff.
Deal.
Bye, guys. Thank you, and thanks for supporting my fledgling eBay store.
Well, that's it. That's all. I guess we can officially stick a fork in this show. You get it? I know it's cheesy, but if you don't like cheese, you wouldn't be tuned into this show. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to everybody who came up and said hello at Lake Fork. You don't have to deal with those critters when I'm in the studio, but I am now. Thank you to everybody that said hello at Fork. It was awesome meeting all of the humpers. So many old friends. Great to see Tim Cook and the entire crew there. Randy, my buddy Randy, one of the humpers, local guys who drove the vehicles around the stage. It was cool to have a humper driving vehicles around the stage. It's always cool to meet the humpers. And if you are a fine humper and you are going to be in Orange, Texas, make sure you holler at me and say hello. I would love to meet you there. It is always fun to meet you fine folks. This tournament is going to be a lot of fun. It's always giant crowds. Orange always shows out, an amazing community. Davey Height and Tommy Sanders are going to be on site. We're going to have a tailgate this week. So they're going to be doing live on site. So lots going on. Myself and Kyle Jesse will be doing live cast and the always popular halftime show, which we are doing a lot more on the water stuff. I'm pushing for it. Trust me. All on the water all the time. And pay attention. Lots of cool stuff happening. More cool stuff to come. But I hope you've enjoyed this remote version of Mercer. Have a great week. Enjoy being. And as always, Bob Kopp. Oh, by the way, hey, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Give us a bunch of ratings on the streaming services. We are blowing up on Spotify, and I thank you for it because, it just makes it feel like me sitting on a bench in the middle of a park, sounding like a weirdo in front of people. Well, it makes it all seem worthwhile. So continue to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Give us ratings on Spotify. Do all those things on YouTube. Stroke the algorithm and help the grow going and keep this show going. Have a great week. Enjoy being. And as always, Bob Cobb, take it away.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?